One of the most bizarre games of football, especially that sort of 7 minute period in the second half that I've been involved in. Trying to recollect anything similar, and I can't. I felt it was at a stage where we were on the ascendancy. I felt we were playing the game in Dundee's half. Started the second half well. Obviously from our corner, was delivered into the box. I've seen several angles of it. Jordan McGee's got his arm round Kofi Balmer's neck. We sat at managers meeting last night and we were told defenders on the wrong side, that type of grappling would ultimately result in a penalty kick. On his way down as he falls, he sustains a blow from the knee and the boot, the sole of the boot, to his head. So it's 2 blows to his head as he's falling to the ground. Completely accidental, no intention in that whatsoever from the views that I've seen there. And then the counter-attack results in a Dundee goal. Spoken to John Beaton there. John's decided that he didn't think it was enough of a blow to the head to merit the player not moving on the ground. He never moved. Watch the footage back again. He lies motionless on the ground, holding his head. The physio and the doctor have been on after the goal, or instantly they run on the pitch to treat him because he's got blood coming out his mouth. But John's decided that that's not enough of a contact to his head to stop the game. So I take full responsibility for the third and the fourth goal. I think we're down to 10 men for the third goal. Kofi's still off the pitch at that point. And in the fourth goal, we start to show way too much emotion. We start to feel sorry for ourselves. We start to feel that sense of unjust. So absolutely I take responsibility for that. But when we know the margins are so fine in this division between teams, when you start to get decisions like that going against you and the referee, in my opinion, and he disagrees with me after the conversation with him there, he gets to choose, he gets to play God, he decides what blow to the head's bad enough to stop the game and what one's not. And I completely disagree with that. And I'll say it to anybody, I'll argue the bit with anybody that the referee doesn't get to decide that. We were told that those types of incidents, those types of blows to the head would result in the referee stopping the game, and he's not done it.
How frustrating is a moment like that when you've already lost 2 games and then you lose a third and you're getting abuse from supporters and stuff like that at the end?
But again, what does it mean? What does it matter? You rightly say the abuse you get and the frustration that's shown, the disappointment for the supporters. I sure as hell don't think they were feeling that way when it was sitting at 1-1. And as I say, I'll always take responsibility for the defeats. But we have to understand that, again, when I sat at that meeting last night and I was told that we should have had a penalty, and everyone agrees within the refereeing fraternity that we should have had a penalty at 0-0 against Ross County 2 weeks ago, then that changes the context of these games of football. Can't tell you what the end result would have been, but we know that we start to get our tail up at that moment. We know that then it becomes more difficult for the opposition to start chasing games and leaving themselves exposed. So you can understand from 2 of those 3 defeats that we face, and it looks bad in the face of it, of course it does, 3 at the weekend, 4 here tonight. You can understand the real sense of frustration that it has for me, because again it comes down to livelihoods, it comes down to jobs, it comes down to positionings in the league and all the rest of it. I don't think that's a difficult decision to make tonight. I get that there's some real difficult decisions to make, but that's not a tough one tonight. And in actual fact, when we get an opportunity to look at it through VAR against Ross County as well, I'm sorry I'm going back to another incident, but when I sit there in person at that meeting, I take it serious and I want to try and buy into trying to make decisions better. And while he's been good that way, asking our opinion, when we all sit and see that quite clearly VAR should have given us a penalty against Ross County, and when we see this incident back that we choose not to stop the game with a head knock, and irrespective, I think it's a penalty. I think it's a penalty on what we discussed as managers and officials last night. We all agreed, defender on the wrong side. He's got his arm round the neck of the opposition player. That's probably going to mean it's a penalty. It's poor defending, is what we all said last night. That if you get in the wrong side of the player, then you have to ultimately grapple them in some way to try and gain that advantage back. Then I'm perplexed at that one. But even take that aside, stopping the game at that moment certainly prevents Dundee's second goal.
What was the sort of thinking behind the changes tonight? Was it Jair at right wing back for his first start and Tony Watt came in up front for his first start?
I thought they'd done really well, to be honest with you. I thought they both done really well in the game. Thought Tony carried a real threat for us at the top end of the park, held the ball up well. And Jair, we wanted to try and carry that extra attacking threat as well as trying to get that freshness to the team. So for large parts I felt that worked, but again that falls on deaf ears when you lose the game.
Will you look to take that decision further, Stuart, or stick to another call at all?
What difference does it make? It doesn't make any difference at this point, none whatsoever. We'll possibly be told that they think maybe the game should have been stopped. John had said to me that hindsight's a wonderful thing, was his quote to me. So again, what does it mean now? What does it matter now? Other than the fact that we lost a game of football, and we simply have to move on. They'll move on, and you know, I end up going home and starting to ponder these decisions that can start to make a big difference in games of football. And again, it's went against us tonight. Albeit, and again I have to stress, without question, I take responsibility for goals 3 and 4. We have to regroup better than what we did, but I feel that that's a big turning point in the game.
Stuart, everyone will be hurting after that, after 3 defeats in a row. How do you get the heads back up for St Mirren Saturday?
You stop feeling sorry for yourself. That's what I said. There was possibly a wee spell in the game, as good as I felt in large parts of that game the players were. There was a wee spell where we maybe started to feel sorry for ourselves within that 7 minutes. We felt the unjust. And we won't come out of a run of losing games of football and conceding goals by feeling sorry for ourselves. So back in first thing tomorrow morning. We've got a real difficult game to come on Saturday, and we have to embrace the challenge. It's as simple as that. Thank you. Cheers.
Looking to buy a car? Click the link below.